Start your week wisely. The U.S. Canada border, Ukraine, London bars, Wal-Mart, Afghanistan. A mezzanine floor collapsed at a bar in East London on Saturday, leaving more than a dozen people injured. Wal-Mart, the largest private retailer in the U.S., is dropping its mask mandate for vaccinated employees. President Biden signed an executive order Friday allowing $7 billion in frozen assets from Afghanistan's central bank to eventually be distributed inside the country and to potentially fund litigation brought by families of victims of the September 11th terror attack. The week ahead Monday. Happy Valentine's Day. We hope your heart is full of happiness and your stomach is stuffed with sweet Zoxo. The Five Things team. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is scheduled to hold talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky amid rising tension at the Ukraine-Russia border. Scholz says the U.S. and Germany will act together if Moscow launches an invasion. Scholz is expected to travel to Russia the following day. Wednesday. Traders on Wall Street will be closely watching the release of the minutes from the Federal Reserve's last meeting for any additional clues on the timing of future interest rate hikes to combat rising inflation. The second phase of France's COVID-19 restrictions are due to be lifted, including the reopening of nightclubs, the resumption of standing concerts, and the consumption of food and drinks in stadiums, cinemas, and on public transportation. Tourism officials are hoping the loosening of constraints will prompt increased travel to France, which has had some of the most stringent COVID-19 restrictions in the world. Friday, February 18th is the deadline for the Senate to vote on a temporary government funding measure passed by the House last week. The stopgap bill, known as a continuing resolution, would extend funding through March 11th and avoid a government shutdown. Former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter, who was found guilty on 2 counts of manslaughter in the fatal shooting of Daunte Wright during a traffic stop, is scheduled to be sentenced. Minnesota guidelines recommend a sentence of roughly between 6 and 8.5 years in prison. Want more 5 Things? This week on the Sunday edition of the 5 Things podcast, CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton gets us ready for tonight's Super Bowl. Why do we root for underdog? Are the Bengals really an unlucky franchise? What's America's favorite game time snack? We dig into the data around America's most popular sporting event. Listen here. Tonight's big event, Super Bowl 56. Get ready for some football. The Los Angeles Rams will face the Cincinnati Bengals on their home field at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, with the kickoff set for 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Bengals have reached the Super Bowl twice before, both times in the 1980s, but have never won the coveted title. The Rams' last Super Bowl win was in 2000. Today's game will also feature a star-studded halftime show with performances from hip-hop icons Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Photos of the week. Photos. The week in 44 photos. U.S. snowboarding legend Shaun White walks off after his last Olympic halfpipe run on Friday, February 11. White, the Olympic champion in 2006, 2010, and 2018, finished 4th this time around. Tide Caption. 1 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Local residents watch with concern as authorities try to rescue a 5-year-old boy who was trapped in a well near the Moroccan town of Bab Berred on Thursday, February 3rd. The boy, Ryan Oram, was eventually retrieved by rescue teams on Saturday, but he did not survive his ordeal, according to state media. Tide Caption. 2 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with French President Emmanuel Macron in Moscow on Monday, February 7. Macron was hoping to de-escalate the tense standoff between Russia and Ukraine. Tide Caption. 3 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva competes at the Olympics on Monday, February 7. The 15-year-old became the first female skater to ever land a quadruple jump at the Olympics, and she was part of the group that won a gold medal in team figure skating. But she is now at the center of a drug testing controversy, and the medal ceremony has been delayed. Tide Caption. 4 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Britain's Queen Elizabeth II cuts a cake to celebrate the start of her Platinum Jubilee on Saturday, February 5. It has been 70 years since the Queen took the throne in 1952. Tide Caption. 5 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Flames shoot out of the guitar of British rapper Dave as he performs during the Brit Awards in London on Tuesday, February 8. Tide Caption. 6 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Miners wait for an elevator to take them below ground at the start of their shift in Volodar, Ukraine, on Thursday, February 3. Ukraine was once Europe's third-largest coal producer, but production has dropped dramatically since 2014, when fighting broke out with pro-Russian separatists in the eastern Donbass region. Hide caption 7 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Surfing great Kelly Slater, right, embraces fellow competitor Seth Moniz after Slater won the Billabong Pro Pipeline in Hawaii on Saturday, February 5. It was just days shy of Slater's 50th birthday. Hide caption 8 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Actress Jennifer Garner pretends to play the saxophone Saturday, February 5. After receiving an award from Harvard University students in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She was named Hasty Pudding Woman of the Year by the university's Hasty Pudding Theatricals troupe. Hide caption 9 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. People pass by a honking truck in Toronto on Saturday, February 5, as they show their support for the truckers who have been protesting COVID-19 mandates in the Canadian capital of Ottawa. Thousands of truckers have been participating in the so-called Freedom Convoy, fighting a vaccine mandate that is forcing all Canadian truckers crossing the U.S. Canada border to be fully vaccinated or face quarantine in their homes for 2 weeks when they return. The protest has crippled downtown Ottawa, leading the mayor to declare a state of emergency. Hide caption 10 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. A paper cutout of a horse is seen inside a pear cactus at a park in Tel Aviv, Israel, on Saturday, February 5. Hide caption 11 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. The United States' Nathan Chin won the gold medal in singles figure skating on Thursday, February 10. It is the first Olympic gold for Chan, who finished 5th in South Korea 4 years ago. Hide caption 12 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Houses are damaged on a beach in Maningiri, Madagascar. On Tuesday, February 8, Cyclone Batsarai slammed into the island on Saturday. Hide caption 13 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai watches the women's big air finals at the Olympics on Tuesday, February 8. Peng was seen sitting alongside Thomas Bach, the president of the International Olympic Committee, who she also had a face-to-face meeting with over the weekend. Bach and Peng had agreed to meet during a November video call that came amid an outpouring of global concern about the whereabouts and safety of the athlete. Hide caption 14 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. People march in downtown Minneapolis on Saturday, February 5, calling for justice for Amir Locke. Locke, a 22-year-old black man, was killed during a police raid in Minneapolis as a SWAT team executed a no-knock warrant at an apartment. Locke wasn't named in the warrant, officials said. Hide caption 15 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Anna Darugo, an Olympian from Belarus, performs a trick as she practices for the mixed team aerials event on Thursday, February 10. Hide caption 16 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Children play on a bouncy castle at a beach in Narathiwat, Thailand, on Saturday, February 5. Hide caption 17 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, smiles from behind the window of the car as she leaves a charity in Aston Sandford, England, on Thursday, February 10. Camilla, the wife of Prince Charles, will be known as Queen Camilla when Charles becomes king. That is the wish of Queen Elizabeth II, who made the announcement during her Platinum Jubilee. Hide caption 18 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. American snowboarding star Chloe Kim reacts after her first of 3 runs in the Olympic halfpipe finals. On Thursday, February 10, she nailed every trick and posted a huge score of 94. It turned out to be the winning run. Kim also won halfpipe gold in 2018. Hide caption 19 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. A jockey takes part in the Pacu Jawi, a traditional cow race held at a paddy field in the Indonesian Regency of Tanah Datar, on Saturday, February 5. Hide caption 20 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Canadian luger McKenna Hodgson competes in the women's singles event on Monday, February 7. Hide caption 21 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. As a protest takes place in Beirut, Lebanon, on Monday, February 7. A woman holds a picture of her granddaughter who was killed in the city's port explosion in 2020. The protest took place outside the Justice Palace and showed support for the judge who has been investigating the blast. Hide caption 22 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. A dejected Mikaela Shiffrin sits on the side of the Olympic slalom course after she missed a gate on her first run and was disqualified on Wednesday, February 9. The American skier was one of the favorites in the event. Her miscue came 2 days after a shocking fall in the giant slalom. Hide Caption 23 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. A woman is consoled in a suburb north of Buenos Aires on Friday, February 4. After learning that her brother had died from consuming tainted cocaine. At least 20 people died in Argentina after consuming cocaine suspected of containing a poisonous substance. Local government officials said more people were hospitalized. Hide Caption 24 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Performers create a flower display with LED lights during the Olympics opening ceremony. On Friday, February 4. Hide Caption 25 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Former Alaska government and vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin arrives at federal court in New York on Thursday, February 3. She is suing the New York Times over an editorial that incorrectly linked the 2011 shooting of U.S. Representative Gabby Giffords to a map circulated by Palin's Political Action Committee that showed certain electoral districts under crosshair. The Times corrected the error and apologized for it, and a judge initially dismissed the defamation case, but a federal appeals court revived it. Hide Caption 26 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Russian President Vladimir Putin left meets with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on Friday, February 4. During their summit, they called for NATO to halt further expansion. Hide Caption 27 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Members of the local scout community extinguish the edge of a burning area as they try stop the spread of a wildfire at the Aberdare National Park in Kenya on Monday, February 7. Hide Caption 28 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Chinese athletes Dinigir Yilamujan left and Zhao Jiawen wave as they place the Olympic flame into a giant snowflake during the opening ceremony on Friday, February 4. The choice of Dinigir and Zhao appeared symbolic and deliberate. Dinigir is a Uyghur, an ethnic minority in China's far west region of Xinjiang, where China has been accused of massive human rights violations. Zhao is of Han descent, the dominant ethnicity in China. Hide Caption 29 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Cars stop before a flooded area in Vohiparara, Madagascar, on Sunday, February 6, after Cyclone Batsarai made landfall. Hide Caption 30 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. People rest in sleep cabins Sunday, February 6, that were set up for journalists covering the Beijing Winter Olympics. Hide Caption 31 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Fireworks explode over the Beijing National Stadium during the Olympics opening ceremony. On Friday, February 4, Beijing is the first city in history to host both a summer and a winter Olympic. Hide Caption 32 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Canadian hockey player Brianne Jenner left faces off against the Russian Olympic Committee's Oksana Bratusheva during a preliminary round game at the Olympics on Monday, February 7. The game was delayed for an hour after the ROC's COVID-19 test results had not arrived on time. When the teams finally played, they wore masks under their cages. Hide Caption 33 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. The intergalactic crew of Chewbacca holds its carnival parade in New Orleans on Saturday, February 5. Hide Caption 34 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. People line up for COVID-19 tests at a temporary testing center in Hong Kong on Wednesday, February 9. Hide Caption 35 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Germany's Tobias Wendel and Tobias Arlt celebrate after winning Olympic gold in doubles luge. On Wednesday, February 9, the pair made history by becoming the first doubles luge team to win 3 consecutive golds. Hide Caption 36 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Children perform during the Olympics opening ceremony on Friday, February 4. Hide Caption 37 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. A bus carrying Senegal's soccer team parades through the country's capital of Dakar on Monday, February 7. The team won the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in history. Hide Caption 38 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos. Chinese Olympian Zhu Yi falls during her short program. while competing in the team figure skating event on Sunday, February 6. After finishing last, the U.S.-born skater faced a firestorm of criticism on Chinese social media. Hide Caption 39 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos, a woman is seen inside a translator booth as U.S. President Joe Biden and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz hold a joint news conference at the White House on Monday, February 7. Biden and Scholz sought to put on a united front, but one key sticking point appeared to remain: the future of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Hide Caption 40 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos, Arkansas basketball players J.D. Noti, left, and Jalen Williams celebrate with fans after the Razorbacks upset top-ranked Auburn on Tuesday, February 8. Hide Caption 41 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos, singer Adele performs during the Brit Awards in London on Tuesday, February 8. Hide Caption 42 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos, Mexican figure skater Donovan Carrillo performs his short program on Tuesday, February 8. Carrillo, Mexico's first Olympic figure skater in 30 years, was also his country's flag bearer in the opening ceremony. Hide Caption 43 of 44 photos. The week in 44 photos, a cow sits on a beach near Barbate, Spain, on Saturday, February 5. See last week in 36 photos. Hide Caption 44 of 44. Check out more moving, fascinating and thought-provoking images from the week that was. Curated by CNN Photos. What's happening in entertainment? Marry Me shines the spotlight on Jennifer Lopez just in time for Valentine's Day. Jennifer Lopez is back on the big screen in Marry Me. CNN's Brian Lowry says the movie trades in the standard meet-cute rom-com formula for meet-dumb. Lopez still gets ample opportunities to sing a hummable soundtrack, but even within the genre's parameters, the silly premise deals the movie a blow from which it never entirely recovered. What's happening in sports? If football isn't your thing, perhaps puppies are. The Ferocious Puppy Bowl 18 begins today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Discovery Plus and Animal Planet. More than 100 incredible adoptable puppy players will sport either Team Rough or Team Fluff in the Possum pre-Super Bowl event. NASCAR's Daytona 500, also known as the Great American Race, will kick off next Sunday at the Daytona International Speedway in Florida. It's a 200-lap race where 40 drivers will compete for bragging rights and more than $1 million in prize money. Quiz time. Take CNN's weekly news quiz to see how much you remember from the week that was. So far, 75% of fellow quiz fans have gotten an 8 out of 10 or better this week. How well can you do? Play Me Off remixed oldies are here to stay. Megastars Elton John and Dua Lipa are topping the charts with their catchy single Cold Heart. Check out this eclectic reimagination of one of Elton's classic hits.